I did a big clearing today. I don't want to do this. Damn, I wish I had some rum to spit 4 ways. I only got water right now. I ain't finna spit no water. That's like disrespectful. So I'll call on Azazel, Set-Typhon, Set-Horus, Ashe, 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 Isis, Ashe, Aset, Ashe, Osiris, Ashe, Anubis, Ashe, Sekhmet, Ashe. I ain't got nothing but my soul to give these entities. I ain't got nothing to share with them except my energy and my love. I can give them water, but that's disrespectful to me. I'd rather give them what they want, liquor. Azazel, Ashe. Osiris, Ashe. That's what I forgot. Hathor, Ashe. Maya, Ashe. Oh, Cristo Negro, Ashe. Christos, Ashe. Daath, Ashe. To all the gods known and unknown, Ashe. To all the ancestors known and unknown, Ashe. Kalima, Ashe. Shekinah, Ashe. Shakti, Ashe. Shiva, Ashe. Alright, let's get started. We're not talking about the demiurge today. Fuck them. I just wanted to set these energies right. That was this aloe vera I was using. Talk about the demiurge another time. Fuck them niggas. Anyway, so I made this PDF just to, I'm gonna have to flip my camera around here and there. But I made this PDF just to organize this information. So I'm gonna flip this around so you guys can see this image because it's really important. I put the dark. Yeah, that worked well. Right? So this is the image I want you all to see. Right here. This is the hidden god. I got this from Seven Bomar's video. This is where, and this is the back of the head. And I'm going to explain a lot of shit right now. But this is the back of the head here. Oh, can y'all hear me? I just have my hand over the mic. This is the back of the head right here. So this is where you actually end up channeling in your higher self. These are the images here. This is the hidden god. Alright? So, and there's a couple images I'm going to want to show you guys while we get through this. So when I saw this image, as I had embodied the Great Mother recently, when I saw this image, I immediately knew that this was something I needed to pay attention to. It's the back of your head. So that's where when you are activating your God self, the back of your head will start pulsating. There's, I don't know what these are exactly. Let's see. Lateral nerve boxes. It's right behind the pineal gland. I just keep hearing medulla oblongata. So And then it was funny because I was watching these Bobby Hemmett videos as I was making this, and right when I was right at the part that I'm writing, the information will pop up, like, and I'm like, what the fuck kind of synchronicity is this? So that was pretty cool. So y'all remember in the Bible when Christ says, "Get behind me, Satan." So there's a verse, Mark 8:34 to 38 and Luke 9:23 to 27. Now I'm going to break down the esoteric version because, as we know, the Bible is really, actually, you know what, I want to put this here because it's a little more even, and then I can just make this small for right now while I'm reading. As we know, the Bible is a magical text, but it's taken gravely out of context. And there's a lot of misconceptions in there, so you have to sort through it and find the jewels. So Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. "Far be it from you, Lord," he said. "This shall never happen to you." But Jesus turned and said to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan," or Shaitan, or Set. "You are the stumbling block to me, for you do not have in mind the things of God, but the things of men." So he wasn't calling Peter Satan. He was pointing to this area in the back of your head where you bring in your Christ energy. And then he was telling Peter basically that you're in your humanity, right? And I'm going to come back to that part. I'm going to come back to the rest of this. Well, actually, I'll just read it to you. So I'm going to also break down this of the cross. But the things of men, and then the part where he goes, where he says, "Take up your cross." Then Jesus told his disciples, "If anyone wants to come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it." Now he's not talking about my sake, the human, the man, but for actually the sake of choosing your Christ energy and your Christ self. So it wasn't about worshiping Christ as a deity. It was about really coming in tune with the fact that you are a Christ people. That's why you get the part in the Bible where he says, "Don't you know that ye are gods and you'll do greater things than me?" So there's a lot in here that was just taken really out of context. What will it profit a man if he gains the world yet forfeits his soul? Or what can a man give in exchange for his soul? The Son of Man will come in his Father's glory with his angels, and then he will repay each one. That part doesn't really matter. "Truly I tell you, who are standing here will not taste death before they see me, the man, coming his kingdom." Okay. So then he brings up death at the end, which is sort of like weird. Okay, you have to take up a cross. There's this death stuff going on. What the fuck is going on here? So I'll break this down esoterically so you can understand the text. So when Christ was going through the alchemical process of becoming the Set-Horus, there is a deity. Egyptians didn't look at life as good and evil. The ancients, and even before then, it wasn't about good and evil. It's about the actual tools that you have, and then how you choose to use those tools. So it's not so much that we're dealing with, oh, Set is evil, that's the villain. No, you're thinking like a European. You're thinking like an alien. And I'm going to go through that prophecy as well, because a lot of people they may look like an Egyptian in skin, right? They may look like the ancients, but they actually think like a man of another race, like an alien. And that's actually, I have that here too. When Christ was going through the alchemical process of becoming Set-Horus, he had to travel through the death gate or Daath gate. And this explains the line where he says, "Truly I tell you, some who are standing here will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming to his kingdom." So some of you will not be saved because you're not saving yourselves. So you're not going to go through the death gate because you have to die even spiritually so that you can learn to embody and bring in your higher self and actually embody that form here. So you are a form of Christ. You're the Christ. And you have to go through the Daath or death gate in order to bring the Christ energy back. And Daath is known as like the hidden sphere on the tree of life. And then that will bring you to the Qabalah and the, what is it? No, not the Qabalah, the Qalipoff and all that shit. The back of the trees, or I like to call it the root of the trees, but you could see it in an interdimensional way. Okay, I said the personality is connected with the ego. And so remember how I was explaining to you all that your ego and your personality is over you in layers. So even after healing your trauma, you're going to be subject to your ego or your personality. And a lot of people won't have the capacity or the ability to release the ego. Because once you release the ego, then you'll be able to actually embody the God self, because it will not come into a vessel that is defiled with preconceived notions of who you think you are. So I'm going to show you the cross here. And then we also have an image here, the zodiac from the Temple of Dendera. So, and that's the seven, that's where the 7 Hathors are, 7 sisters of the Palladians. So, right, we have the zodiac here, and it has the cross in the middle. That's the cross you have to take up. There it is there. And this is the Temple of Dendera, and the center of the Temple of Dendera is the Little Dipper. And there's another, I'm going to explain this whole thing in a second too. Okay, so make this small again so I can read it to you. The hidden God is the center of the zodiac, or you could say the 13th sign, but that's kind of a misnomer. This is about going beyond being under the subjugation of your zodiac sign. Because your humanity, which is a tool that you created, is under the subjugation of your zodiac sign. It does point to your divinity to an extent, but your humanity puts you under the subjugation of the zodiac sign or your lower animal natures, because you got to think of everything as a light, a form of light. The hidden God is the center of the zodiac, or the 13th sign. The picture on the right is from the Temple of Dendera, which I showed you, 7 Hathors, which has the most, which has the most accurate zodiac. The middle of the Temple of Dendera is the Little Bear constellation, or the Little Dipper. That's the center. This is known as the oldest constellation as in the sky. So when we take a when we take a look closer, we see this. Right? So I'm going to show you guys what I was looking at, and I'll read this as I'm going down. Okay, so this is in the center. Some people like, and I have the website, I think, here that I got this from. It's really complicated because they're like astronomers, and I'm just not like well versed in all that stuff. So I just got what I could from this. We see the Virgin holding the wheat, and this is where Sirius is at the end of the Piscean age. So this is between the tails of Pisces. So this is where we actually are now. Sirius is also the realm of Set, or the death realm, which is true life. This is the foretelling of the return of Christ in the end times. The middle of the zodiac is what is known today as the Little Bear constellation. And then I left the link there. If you guys want this, just let me know. I'm probably going to put it on Patreon too. Okay. So I'm going to go a little further with this. I was just happy I was able, I don't even know how I was able to find it. So the return of Christ isn't one person. The return of Christ is you. You're the return of Christ. You're the Christos. You're Christ. You can embody a Christ energy. I said if we don't understand the most accurate zodiac, which has been hidden in the Temple of Dendera, we don't understand ourselves. This is our true mythology. We are Christ. We are the Christ of the end times. We must go through the death gate, or Daath, and give up our humanity in order that we embody the Christ energy and bring forth the golden age through the death of humanity, and indeed bring forth the horrors of the end times. Now, the reason why I call it the horrors of the end times, the reason why people get so freaked out by this, is because you're into religion, you're into Christianity, and you've been taught a false paradigm of good and evil because of your humanity. So even though you're like, I'm not Christian anymore, you still embody the mind of a foreigner. You're still embodying the mind of a European, which is filled with fear, which is filled with anxiety, which chooses the mind over the heart. The mind is nothing. The mind is what was put on you when you got trapped down here to make you forget who you are. So the mind is meant to serve the heart. If we're going to tame our minds, we have to get out of the mind and not think with the mind anymore. We must think with our hearts so that we can know truth. So this world is an inversion. So death, so the book of the dead is really the book of immortality. That's a misnomer and a mistranslation. I feel like it was purposely done so that people don't look there. Because in the pyramid text, it goes through all this stuff too. You can read about some of this stuff in the pyramid text as well. And I believe I left the link in here also. So this is an inversion. So when you go through the death gate, you're actually going and you're going to life. You're going to the true reality. And then when you're coming back, you're able to be the middle pillar or embody that energy and then bring back the Christ energy. So you're awakening the God that's within you that's been asleep and in a coffin, essentially. Your body is like a coffin all this time because you are in an illusion. And how it's told in this book, here we go, Atlantis, this book here, from Rudolf Steiner, The Fate of a Lost Land and Its Secret Knowledge. So this book here from Rudolf Steiner, he really goes into the 7 root races, and he says that it used to be that the soul was on the outside of the body and that the physical world was dark to us and that the spiritual world was what we saw. So that would be another dimension of Earth. And actually on the inside of us, and then we would only go into the physical body to go to sleep. And then we would actually sleep during the day and be up at night. And I've been in that realm lately. I've been coming out of it now, but I was in that realm for about a week where I kept being up all night and sleeping all day. So you're in your true God form when you're doing that. That's some of your DNA activating that's left over from being from one of these root races in Atlantis. Okay, so I'm going to get into a little bit of my personal experiences. I said I says the next part is how to embody your Christ or God self. I said I have a personal experience with this where I had, which I already told you guys about this, but I actually had to die spiritually and give up my inner child to the Great Mother in 9D or Daath. As a sacrifice in order that I could embody the mother in the flesh. She stayed about a week and chose the name Aiyah. I felt the energy coming, and after I brought Set-Typhon in. So I did a ritual and brought Set-Typhon energy in first, which is really important because you have to bring that energy in first so it can clear the way for your true self to come into your physical body. And it took me about a week of actually clearing my humanity so that I would be free from all these programmings and then allow that energy to come in. Yeah, and I talked about that here. In order that I would release the layers of personality and falsehood and fully embody the mother. So every goddess is an aspect of the mother. So every single goddess is the mother. So every god or goddess really is the mother because she's everything. So when you bring your soul in, you're embodying an aspect of the mother, just like everybody else is. But it's their light or their angle or their version of that. Okay, so then when I spoke to you, I said when the mother was here, and when I channel the Great Mother now, I noticed the back of my head, this part, right, would pulsate, and that's the hidden God. That's why Christ says, "Get behind me, Satan," or Shaitan, right? He's pointing to the back of the head where the true Christ or God energy incarnates through the body. We must go deeper into the mystery of Set-Typhon or Set-Horus in order to understand this. And I'm going to show you guys this picture here too. So let me turn this around one more time. So this is Set-Horus here. I had to make it so that we could see it better, but I think I can zoom in a little bit so you could see it. Right? So that's Christ. Horus is Christ, so Christ would be in the back of Seth's head. So if they're supposed to be enemies, why are they together like this? And why is this the God man? He's even holding the God man that they do, these fucking Masons and shit try to embody. Look, 5-pointed star, right? You're a star. He's showing you that you're a star, right? They took that from this. And then try to convince you that that's not you. They put a whatever the fuck that person is on there, and try to convince you that that's not you, when he's showing you, hey, I'm the God man. I'm the God on earth. I'm the miracle. You're the miracle. And this is how you embody this energy. So this is Set-Horus. This is showing you that Christ's energy comes from the back of the head. The Set energy is the energy you must embody to manifest Horus or Christ. And this has nothing to do with your humanity. So if you're still in the paradigm of good and bad, or good and evil, or oh, I need to be nice, or letting people guilt you into being somebody you're not, or fucking anxiety, or stressing yourself out through anxiety because you're not in your heart, and coming up with all these conspiracy theories and shit. I call, honestly, conspiracy theories, it's good to wander, but people take it too far, and they don't ground their information. So it makes them like schizophrenic. I said the ancient Egyptians had no concept of Satan the way Christianity has inverted it today, right? And I said, you are literally connecting heaven to earth. The number 7, which is funny because I got this from Savon's channel, Seven Bonwar, which really sparked it all off, is the number of connecting heaven and earth. So this is the miracle. This is squaring the circle. The circle, or the black dot. Set is known as one of the oldest deities. He's considered completely sovereign. That's why they demonized him, and thus has free will. This is why he was and then you have the false sovereigns. Yeah, the number 8, and then the mother's 9. Then even 1 and 0 could be the mother. That's because that's the 0 manifested. And then you have these false sovereigns, right, in England and shit, that are like, oh, we're sovereign. So they just stole your mythology. They stole your mythology. You got degraded, and you literally are a Set people, because you are doing everything completely inverted to society and to the reality, and you should embrace that. Embrace being, this is not the demiurge. This has nothing to do with the demiurge. This is actually super divine. So keep that shit the fuck out of here. So you, or unless you were talking about these motherfuckers, yeah. I see what you mean. I don't even want to talk about it, but I'm just saying that they steal your mythology. And then we do everything fucking inverted, and it looks crazy to the rest of the world because we're not of this world. So stay in your godhood and don't be of this world. I didn't come back here for the rest of the world. I came back here for the chosen ones. I came back here for my people. I might look different from you right now, but trust me, if you could feel me, you know who the fuck I am. Okay. And I had a dream a couple years ago where I became Set in the dream, and I killed off half my ancestors because I was like, you're not shit, and I just fucking got rid of them. I was just like, boom. It was like lightning or something, and I'm like, boom, and they were just gone. So I didn't know all this stuff yet, and it's funny how you'll have these experiences, and then the information will come behind the experiences to confirm that which you've been learning, like which you've been experiencing. Set rules above the cosmos, not being under the rule of any stars or planets. Oh, I have a typo. I put of planets. Set, I always have at least one. Set in the temple of Dendera is associated with the Big Bear or Sirius, which is associated with Virgin or Virgo. Remember, we saw Virgo on this side, and then it was where we are now, Pisces, and in the middle is where you embody the Christ energy. Well, that's when you bring it back to earth with you. The center is between the two poles or pillars. The sovereign being is a pillar connecting heaven and earth. The Thus the sovereign is able to walk in the human realm as a sovereign, and thus becomes Christ. The Book of the Dead, which is truly the Book of Immortality, is showing us a gateway through death to be risen to true life. We can now experience a spiritual death, giving up our humanity and bringing our true selves to earth. These are the times. You are Christ. It is time for you to give up your humanity and embody that which you truly are. Osiris or Osar is known as the god of the dead, or the god of the underworld, and is an aspect of Set. All the gods are aspect of Set, who embodies all gods, just as Isis or Set embodies all the goddesses. In the pyramid text, Set-Horus creates a ladder or stairway for the initiated dead, your human self, from earth to the imperishable stars. You must give up your humanity and physical prison in order to embody your true self or soul, to manifest your God self on earth. So this is also, okay, I'm going to get into the Tower of Babel now. Oh no, we're not going to get into that yet. But this has to do with the Tower of Babel as well. Because they were, and I'm going to explain the confusion too. So Daath or Death, Death or Daath, the realm of the Great Mother. So I have to turn this around one more time to show you guys these Ciphers. Or the Ciphera, or, well, this is the Tree of Life, but it's showing you the hidden Ciphera. Oh, hold up. Daath or Death, and they call these the veils. And then I remember I was listening to Bobby Hemmett, and he was talking about how Isis said, nobody has lifted my veil, because that you don't see there, that's hidden, it's 11, is, and look, it has the cross, right? Like what we talked about. Look, Malkuth also has the cross, the inversion of the cross, right? So we got boom, boom, opposites, but they're two sides to the same fucking coin. Look at that. And then you have one up here, Anin Soph. So this is Sophia, right? The crown. And this is a Kether. So when you look at this, this is the hidden one, the abyss, and the Jews had left that out because they can't go there, because they don't have the primordial essence in order to go there. So what's the point, right? Okay, so I'm going to turn this back around, and we're going to talk about this a little bit. The hidden world, known as the abyss, which is truly Daath, or the realm of the Great Mother. This is the 11th spear, and I'm going to tell y'all about my birthday. My birthday is 1/11/1990. So 9 and 9 is what? 18 plus 1. 18, that's 19. So that and then I have an extra 0, and then it adds up to actually 10. So I have the 0, 1, and then the 1, 0. And then I said the 10th realm, which has the cross of Christ. This is Malkuth, or earth. That represents the body. The first spear is Anin, the crown. That's Anin Soph, or Sophia, which is an aeon in the center of the galaxy. And then I came through there when I went all the way back to when I was born in the spirit realm, when I was born in 9D. So that's a portal. That's the center of the galaxy. I said, then the 11th spear, or hidden spear, is Daath, which also has the cross. These are two sides to the same coin. When I created the term The Zero Manifested, which is my YouTube channel and my Instagram, I didn't know any of this yet. And I even thinking about it, like after the fact, when I did the 1 and then I did the 10, and then I was like, oh, this makes so much sense, because my whole birthday literally adds up to these numbers. I was just resonating with a certain energy based on my soul. This is all being revealed to me the more I study. I know myself. I know I have text. And it's crazy, because as I'm writing this stuff, I'm watching Bobby Hemmett, and literally the video is synchronizing with everything I'm writing. Like this part right here. I'm a Capricorn, which is the devil card in tarot. Capricorn is connected with the planet Saturn, or Satan. Chem is Capricorn, or Cam, or Ham. And literally this was the information I needed as I was writing this. And Bobby Hemmett is like, Cam is Saturn and da-da-da. And I was just looking like, holy shit. It was fucking my mind up. The old ruler of Capricorn was Jupiter. This is the reason for the confusion in this day and age. Therefore, I'm living my mythology and showing all of you how to manifest your God self. And I'm not saying that... No, I'm not Set. I'm the Great Mother. So I'm not saying that it's... that there are not other people born on my birthday and all this other stuff. But I'm saying that I'm one of the only ones that I know of that actually chose to walk their path of their mythology. So you have to read the signs in your life. If every channel I get... I'm not even like looking for this shit. I didn't even want this shit, honestly. I kind of wanted my shit to be simple. I was okay with being like humble. And then Spirit is like, yes, I guess. Yeah, sure. I didn't want none of this. But, okay, bro. I don't care. If you have to prove that, then that's your business. I didn't even want to be who I am. That I really didn't want to study. But Spirit, I didn't want to fucking do all this spiritual shit and share this shit with the world. Spirit kept forcing me into it. I wouldn't be able to get jobs. I wouldn't be able to get anything in the physical realm if I didn't start to do my spiritual work. Literally, everything kept getting cut off. And I was like, man, and I was getting the channels and the dreams and everything. And I was like, fuck my life. I don't want this. I want to do anything else but this is my path. And that's what's going to happen. You're just going to get forced onto your path. You got to walk it no matter what. Okay, so now the Tower of Babel, right? So I told you how Set-Horus is literally creating a ladder. So you can go to the death realm and then come back as Christ. A lot of people are. Yeah, a lot of people are. Right after I brought the Great Mother to Earth and embodied her energy, all my soul family said, my higher self wants to come through. My higher self wants to manifest. I'm going to like, have this spiritual death and everything. Like, so many people came to me and were saying the same thing. And I was like, damn, I really set this energy the fuck off. But it's opening the way so that all of you can do it. It's not fucking about me. I'm just an example. And then I'm just brave and I'm willing to go and just fucking, I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. I'll just be like, okay, this is what the energy is. I'm going to go with it. I'm not scared. But it sets it up. It opens the way so all of you can bust that fucking door down and we can bring our God selves back to Earth. That's what this shit is all about. This shit is all about becoming the squared circle. Square is Malkuth. The circle is the infinite, the divine, the black dot, that which you are, and bringing that motherfucker here. So that shit on this planet can be balanced once again, and it can get out of the fallen realm, the physical realm, and start to actually transcend that and go up to the higher realms. Like I said, in this book Atlantis, right? Everyone is not a god. Everyone is not a fucking titan either. These motherfuckers be schizos out here. Schizos. They don't know who the fuck they is, but they wanna talk shit about somebody who is. Who knows who they are. Who's getting all the messages. So this book right here explains that the physical body was on the inside and it was not something that manifests on the outside. The soul was actually was the bigger energy. The physical was seen actually as a shadow at that time. At these times. Everyone has the ability. I'm not lying. You can check my shit. Like I tell everybody, check my heart. And not everybody has this ability, sweetheart. Honestly, some people will never get through this gateway. So the Tower of Babel is a story of humans creating this ladder alchemically, creating Set-Horus with ourselves in order to manifest the sovereign God self on the earth. When people did this, confusion was created in order to distract them from what they were doing, right? So the Tower of Babel story, I am ignoring them because these niggas just be mad because they're not powerful. I'm sorry that you're not powerful. That's not my business. All right, let me get back to this. Language, what we're fucking doing right now, because you people don't fucking know how to tune into your heart. That's not my business. I know my heart. I know myself. I know who the fuck I am. Tune into your heart. Right? So it was language. It was language, and not using telepathy anymore, falling into language, falling into the realm of using your tongue to speak. And we didn't used to use our tongues to speak. We used to actually use toning and song, and they called them utterances, to communicate with nature and things like that. When the physical started to sort of like begin to emerge, it was still a really light frequency. That was actually like a really nice time. And that's all in this book. Okay, when people did this, confusion was created in order to distract them from this. Okay, language being the tool of confusion, and also sacred texts being destroyed or hidden. Yes, that's where the Tower of Babel come in. They weren't creating no, I'm not talking about the language of the birds right now. I have to actually research that a lot more. They were creating the ladder. So they were creating the ladder, the Set-Horus, so that they could actually manifest their God form onto earth. People started figuring it out again. And then language was created. So it wasn't like utterances, or it wasn't like telepathy like we used to do. It was more language, which is a fallen form of communication. And I talked about that when I did the Rosetta Stone PDF, and that's on, and I did an audio for that too, and that's on my Patreon. So all your sacred texts got destroyed or hidden, but the thing is, this is still alive in your DNA. This realm is an inversion. To be present in the body and to love it is to love our coffins, or death of the soul. The soul which is asleep in the body, when we awaken, we begin to put off our humanity and become risen, just as Christ rose to his true self after going through the death or Daath realm for 3 days. And yeah, I saw what you did there, Seth. Which is, I just got it actually. He's like, see? Author of confusion. I see what you did. You living your mythology. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about this. What I want to do is also read something from the prophecy, the Great Prophecy of Thoth, or Tahuti. I have an older version here, but these white folks put this shit up on the website, and it's way easier. So him and Imhotep were having a talk. So, and this is from the, I believe it's from the Emerald Tablets. It's also in Hermetica. And this explains to you the times that we're living in now. I'm not going to get into the fall, but there's a specific part that I want to read so that you understand. And obviously a European deciphered this text, because they call God a him when Thoth actually explains what he thinks God is. He says God is no thing. And then it's a hermaphrodite, so it's male and female. So it embodies all energies. Let's just find the right one. And thus God is above the summit of heaven, yet everywhere present. So this is Set. Set and then the mother, which is that realm. Okay, that's where we come in. But when we're falling. Woo, okay, this is long. Because Imhotep says, do you speak of the statues, Thoth twice great? Yes, of the statues, Imhotep. See how wanting you art in faith. Of what else should I speak of these statues, full of life, of feeling, and of aspiration, which do so many wonderful things? So he goes into all that with him. Nevertheless, because he talks about how the statues can even see the future. I have to look that up. I don't think there's a good and bad, honestly. There might be a false version. Anything that's a false version would be considered bad, or evil. Nevertheless, since sages ought to foresee all things, there's one thing you must know. A time will come when it will seem that the Egyptians have adorned the gods so piously in vain, and that their holy invocations have been barren and unheeded. Divinity will quiet the earth and return to heaven, forsaking Egypt, its ancient abode, and leaving the land widowed of religion and bereft of the presence of the gods. Strangers will fill the earth. And not only will sacred things be neglected, but more dreadful still, religion, piety, and the adoration of the gods will be forbidden and punished by the laws. Then this earth, hallowed by so many shrines and temples, will be filled with blood shooters or whatever, and with the dead. O Egypt, Egypt, there will remain of your religions only vague legends which posterity will refuse to believe. Only words graven upon the stones will witness to your devotion. The Scythian, the Indian, or some other neighboring barbarian will possess Egypt. Divinity will return to heaven. Humanity, thus abandoned, will wholly perish, and Egypt will be left deserted, forsaken of men and of gods. To you I cry, O most sacred river. To you I announce the coming doom. Waves of blood polluting your divine water shall overflow your banks. The numbers of the dead shall surpass that of the living. And indeed, a few inhabitants of the land remain. Egyptians by speech. They will in manners be aliens. Okay? You weepest, O Imhotep, but yet sadder things than these will come to pass. Egypt will fall into apostasy, the worst of all evils. Egypt, once holy land, beloved of the gods, and full of devotion for their worship, will become an instrument of perversion, the school of impiety, and the type of all violence, which is what's going on there now. Then, filled with disgust for everything, man will no longer feel either admiration or love for the world. He will turn away from this beautiful work, the most perfect alike in the present, the past, and the future. Nor will he languor and weariness of the souls permit anything to remain save the stain of the whole universe. This immutable work of God, this glorious and perfect edifice, this manifold synthesis of forms and images, wherein the will of the Lord, lavish of marvels, has united all things in a harmonious and single whole, worthier forever of veneration, of praise and love. Then darkness will be preferred to light, and death will be deemed better than life, which is what we're dealing with now. This is the inversion. I have to see that video to tell you. This is the inversion of the truth. That's what's going on right now. And nor any man will lift his eyes to heaven. In those days, the religious man will be thought mad. The impious will be hailed as sage. Savage men will be deemed valiant, and evil-hearted will be applauded as the best of men. The soul and all that belongs thereto, whether born mortal or able to attain eternal life, all those things which have herein expounded to you, will be but matters for ridicule, and will be esteemed foolishness. There will even be peril of death, believe me, for those who are faithful to religion and intelligence. So that's what we're dealing with now. People who are faithful to religion and intelligence. So obviously these false religions, and then intelligence is science and all this bullshit. New rights, this is happening right now, will be instituted, new laws which are not natural. Nor will there be left one holy word, one sacred belief, religious and worthier of heaven and of celestial things. O lamentable separation between the gods and men! Then there will remain only evil demons who will mingle themselves with the miserable human race. Their hands will be upon it, impelling to all kinds of wicked enterprise, to war, to rapine, to falsehood, to everything contrary of the nature of the soul. The earth will no longer be in equilibrium. The sea will no longer be navigable. In the heavens, the regular course of the stars will be troubled. Every holy voice will be condemned to silence. The fruits of the earth will become corrupt. And that's already happened with the GMO stuff. And she will no more be fertile. The air will sink into lugubrious torpor. Such will be the old age of the world, irreligion and disorder, lawlessness and the confusion of good men. When all these things shall be accomplished, O Imhotep, then the Lord, the sovereign God, will say, who rules the wide world, beholding the evil ways and actions of men, will arrest these misfortune by the exercise of his divine will and goodness, and in order to put an end to error and to the general corruption, he will drown the world with a deluge, or consume it by fire, or destroy it by wars and epidemics. So we're in the end times. And thereafter, he will restore it to its primitive beauty, so that once more it shall appear worthier of admiration and worship. And again a chorus of praise and blessing shall celebrate him who has created and redeemed so beautiful a work. This rebirth of the world, this restoration of all good things, this holy and sacred rehabilitation of nature will take place when the time shall come which is appointed by the divine and ever eternal will of God, without beginning and always the same. Now, the reason why I read this to you, right, is because you see he's talking about that Egypt will be taken over by aliens, and that even the Egyptians will be aliens, right? So, I'm going to read you another part, and this is how you know he's talking about the gods of Egypt will incarnate in the West, and this is what Bobby Hemmett also spoke about. And when I found this, I was like, holy shit, I'm so glad I watched that video all those years ago, because now this makes fucking perfect sense to me. He talks about will here. Yes, the world is good, Imhotep, as I will inform you. Even if God's accords to all being and to all orders, the world benefits of drivers of kind, thought, life, soul. And then he just talks about the cycles and things like this. Cycle is very feminine wisdom. Okay. And thus God is above the summit of heaven, yet everywhere present and beholding all things. For beyond the heavens is a sphere without stars. This is the primordial realm. This is 9D. This is where the mother is. You can all go there. Hey, transcending all corporal things, between heaven and earth, he reigns, who is the dispenser of life. Well, it's really, androgynous, and who we call men. Over the earth and the sea, he reigns, who nourishes all mortal creatures, the plants, the fruit-bearing trees, whose name is Amun Serapis. So this is some Greeked out shit. So I have to look and correlate the name to see what the ancient name actually is. In a city built towards the west, whither by sea and by land shall flow all the race of mortals. But where are they now, though? They are established in a great city upon the mountain. Enough of this. So this is what this one says. However, when I read this one, and I went to that last part right there, they are gathered in a very large community upon the Libyan hill, which I have to even look that up because you actually can't find the etymology for that word. And now enough concerning this hath been declared. So obviously it's not talking about the return of the gods happening in Egypt, because Egypt is forsaken and taken over by foreigners. And most of this world, even people who look like Egyptians, their mind is taken over by a foreign mind, by an alien. He calls it an alien. However, he points towards the West. This is where you'll be incarnated in a mortal body, but still having the ability to transcend your mortality and actually claim immortality once again and become a god form. So I'm not saying this is going to be easy. I'm not saying it's just fucking exciting. I'm not saying it's going to be, you know what I'm saying? This is not going to be easy. This is not going to be, many people will try and a lot of people are going to fail. I may fail. I don't know. But I know that it's possible, and that's enough for me to try. You know what I mean? It's enough for me to try, to know that this is possible, to know that we can have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years lifespans again, and we can choose when we die, and we can embody our true God selves. Who the fuck wouldn't want that? I mean, except for these dead people who maybe can't do that. So that's all I have to say about this. You're Christ. You are Christ. You are the bridge between heaven and earth. You can go and live your mythology, find out who you are, and start to bring in your God self. It's completely possible. This has already been foretold. We are in the end times. But there's no reason to be upset, because now that we're in the end times, we'll now be able to bring in our true God selves. We'll now be able to bring in the golden age. And and even though we fell, which is the realm of Set, so it makes sense that we had to fall, because things have to decay in order that they become something even new, so that you can embody all those 7 races from Egypt, and Atlantis and Lemuria. So this is I can't stress enough how important this wisdom is. I literally can't stress it enough. And there it is. It's out there. It's in the ether. You guys have this wisdom now. Take it and fucking run with it. Take it and be great. I love you. Peace.